Period 7. I haven't done a video for you guys, and I think some of you may be waiting on this. I do not know, but looking at my grade book, as you can see, we had 4 assignments so far. Look at this. Like, what is going on? I'm not really interested in delay assignment this marking period. Like, really. Like, people have nothing. We've gone through like 2 weeks, and you gave me absolutely nothing. Are you waiting on some miracle to happen? I do not know. So, tomorrow, well, I'll see you. I'll tell you. What we are gonna do is, yeah, who cares, Earth Day. You're gonna fix this. I'm not gonna wait until the very last day of the interim, which is coming up, by the way, or the end of the marking period, and then have you sit there and do your assignments. You know, it should be something you do at home. If there's something you do not know, you ask me in class. But nobody asked me anything. And then we just kind of like people having not even one assignment in after 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. So in this video, I'm going to go over that few assignments. Of course, I'm not going to go over every single question. I'm going to pick like a couple of questions per assignment to go over that. So if you are having problem with, let's say, the very first one, I can't even remember what that is, like something like this one. If you have problem doing the sum or difference or adding or subtracting the polynomial, learn it. Of course, if you know how to do this, you can skip it. You can go ahead and do this one is the product. And then we have the factoring. Finally, the one that's due tomorrow is the long division. So these few skills, they are really, really important. And as I said many, many times, you are not going to leave this year and the final exam without knowing how to do this. There will be a whole bunch of questions like this in there. They are not difficult if you actually know how to do it. So let's start. Don't want to do like 30 minutes on this. So the very first assignment, it was all about sum and difference. Sum is adding, and then you have subtracting. So let's pick one for the sum, and let's pick one for the subtraction. I'll just do the last two. So this one is sum. The reason why I say this is sum is all about this arrow over there. In between of the parentheses is adding, so it's going to be sum. And this one is going to be difference. It's going to be subtract. So I'm going to do 46, and I'm going to do 45. So hopefully for those people who are still not knowing what to do, you'll be okay after this. So let me copy this. Give me 1 second. And then I also want to copy 45. Okay. So as this one is sum, that means we are going to break that parenthesis in the beginning. We don't want it to have the parenthesis sitting there. For sum, for adding, the good thing is you don't really have to worry about the second parenthesis. That means you don't have to change the sign, you don't have to do anything. So I would do this. I'll basically rewrite this whole thing and without the parenthesis. So x to the power 3 plus 1 minus 3x plus 2x to the power 3, 11x to the power 4. After that, it's all about grouping like terms and ordering your polynomial in a way that the highest order, the highest power has to go first. If you look at this statement, the highest order has to be x to the power 4. So I would normally cross that if I'm actually writing that thing out. So x to the power 4 is going to go all the way up front. And the good thing about this is x to the power 4 is on its own. That means we can't add or subtract. We don't have any other thing to go with it. There's no combining like terms. After this, we are going to go for, after 4, we're going to go for 3. So this x to the power 3 positive x to the power 3 and that positive 2x to the power 3. When these two combines, this is 1, this is 2, it adds up to 3. So we are going to have 3 x to the power 3. So combining like term and sorting this out, you should be able to do it at the same time. After that, after 3, we are going to go for the square. So x to the power of 2, there's no other x squared term. I can combine them. So I'm going to have x squared. And then this negative 3x sitting there on its own. Negative 3x. Finally, that plus 1 putting all the way at the back. That's it. Okay, the order of this polynomial is going to be 4, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So order, I think that question actually asks you to do this. The order is going to be 4, and number of terms, number of items, can write over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 different items, or there are 5 different terms. So that's it. Okay, that was the very last question of the assignment. I don't think it's difficult. You are just being lazy. Next bit. The difference is a little bit more difficult. The reason for that is you do have to be careful about the subtract. You actually have to distribute this. What I mean by that is every single sign that you see the arrow is pointing to the add or subtract sign. That has to change. That has to change. So this time we will start basically the same way. The first parenthesis, nothing you can do. Just copy that. Then when we get to the second one, so it's going to be subtract x to the power 4, negative positive turn into a negative, negative positive turn into a negative, negative and negative turns into a positive. So if it's a difference of polynomials, you always have to be careful and mindful about the positive and negative sign. So let's see what we can do. The highest power is going to be 4, x to the power 4. There's another one, x to the power 4. So this one is very nice. The reason for that is x to the power 4 minus x to the power 4, like 5 minus 5. You're going to just get 0. So that one disappear. You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to wear anything. After 4 is going to be order 3. Order 3 is x to the power 3. I do not have another item to go with that. So I'm going to have a negative 2x to the power 3 to go up front. And then x to the power of 2. Well, over here, nothing to go with it. So just copy that. Plus 5x squared. X and x. We have a pair of them. It's very similar to the x to the power 4, x minus x, that will disappear. Don't have to worry about it. Very last term, going to be 4. Alright, so that will be the answer. I don't feel like writing this out because I can't. It's difficult to write over here. So the order for this is going to be 3. There are 3 items at the end. So that is the sum and difference, the very first part we did for polynomial. So moving right on. This is the product of polynomials. So this is multiplying this whole thing out. Let's see. I would do one with 2 parentheses. I'll do one with like 3 parentheses. Just so that will cover both. I will pick like 21 and 25. So I'm gonna do 21. And then I'm gonna do 25. 25, where is this? Okay. The reason why I'm not doing 27 and 29, like I actually expand that for you. So if you know how to do 25, you'll be able to do the 27 and 29. Okay. So for product, just kind of like what we did when we were talking about the difference. This is actually a product. This is actually multiplying the negative sign in there, if you do not know. So those arrows will show up again. So we are going to multiply every single item. Alright, so you have to be careful about this. There are many multiplications. because this is a 2, this is a 3, like 2 items, 3 items. We are going to have 2 times 3. Like we have like 6 different multiplication going on. And just be very careful about that. So let's say the 2x has to multiply every single item in the other parenthesis. Alright? So they are the 3 multiplication I was talking about. And subsequently I also have to do this one, multiplying everything once. Multiplying things once. So I checked some of the assignments. Thanks for that few students who actually submitted that. Some of you, when you multiply it, maybe you got scared or something, you just don't have enough multiplication. Okay, there should be 6. And the best I can count is like 3. So a lot of people missing the arrows, they're green. So be careful about that. So let's just stay with the color system. So the first bit I'm going to use blue, then the second bit I'm going to use green. So when I'm multiplying that out, 2x times x squared, 2x to the power 3. X times x squared is to the power 3. You know, there's a 1 over here. When you multiply, you add. For the next bit, 2x times negative 4x, you have a negative. 2 times 4 is 8. X squared, okay, x to the power of 1 plus x to the power of 1 is x squared, and then 2x times negative 3, negative 6x. Okay, we are done with the first bit. Second bit, 1 times x squared, 1 times x squared, and then 1 times negative 4x, negative 4x. You know, it makes it easy. 1 times that thing is going to be the same thing. So now you are back to the sum and the difference. So we are just going to cross out whatever we are going to do. The highest order is going to be 3. So this has to go first. Just go back to blue. 2x to the power 3. And then we are going to deal with the square term. Negative x plus 1. Negative 7. Negative 7 x squared. And then we have 6x and negative 4x. Negative 6, negative 4 is going to be negative 6 minus 4, which is negative 10. Finally, that 3 is sitting there on its own. It's really nothing too difficult. Just you know, multiply it out. Add or subtract. That would be the answer. Okay, this one is... This is going to be way, even a little bit more difficult because there are 3 parentheses. Okay, so these 2 multiply these 2, you're going to introduce 4 items. And then the 4 items multiply that 2, you're going to get 8. So the way I would do it is, just like before, I'm going to do these first 2 parentheses first. Expand it first. Okay, it's no point to multiply all of that just yet. Expand the very first 2 parentheses and then multiply that 3 minus x at the end. So I'll do this. X times 2x, 2x squared. X times 3, 3x. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times positive 3, negative 6. Alright. Now, then I copy the last item. Let's put it over here. One thing you may want to do instead of just multiplying it out, because this is like 4 items multiplied 2 is going to introduce like 8. What you may want to do is just combine the like terms now. So, you know, it cuts it down a little bit. What I mean by that is this parenthesis, you can do the sum or difference to it. 3x minus 4x is going to be negative x. So the very first parenthesis, I can actually make it into something like this. Oops. 3 minus 4 is a negative. So, really? 3 minus 4 is negative x, minus 6. All of these are just algebra 1 scale. Actually, it's like pre-algebra scale. So, after this, multiply it out. So this time is going to be a little bit longer. You can see why. Because 2x squared has to multiply this 2. This negative x has to multiply this 2. And then negative 6 has to multiply that 2. So, is it fun? No. Is it difficult? Not really. So I'm just going to do this first. I'm going to 2x squared minus 3 times 3, 6x squared. This 2x squared times negative x, negative 2x to the power 3. Okay, that is these two arrows. Alright, after that, I want to erase that because I don't have a lot of room for this. After this lot, I'm going to do the negative x times 3 and negative x times negative x. So negative x times 3 is negative 3x. Negative, negative, positive, x times x squared. So that's how we get this, multiply that. For that couple students, I check your work, or if it's on the Schoology, I will actually write something like, you're missing some terms. The last bit is the negative 6 doing this. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Negative times negative x is positive 6x. Okay, just be careful about this. It's tedious, yes, but we can definitely do it. So we get to this stage, add or subtract. We can do it without too much problem. X to the power 3 go first. And then we have x to the power 2. It will be this item and that item. 6x squared plus 6x plus x squared is 7x squared. And then we are dealing with the x's. Negative 3 plus 6 is going to be positive 3x. And finally, negative 18 sitting there. Alright. They're really not too bad. Just be careful about the multiplication, or know that's actually what you have to do. It's a procedure. And that's it. That was that question. The video is already way too long. And factor each polynomial. So in class, I actually talk about how to factor this. And let's pick two questions. A lot of people having problems with this group, I think. To the power 3. So I'll do one for that, and I'll do another one, let's say question 47. Why not? Question 47. Quite probably I'm not going to do the long division because, it's just the most recent one. And if there's any problem, you can ask me in class tomorrow. That's normally what I would do anyway. But see no point if I'm answering a question in class and then people are still sitting there doing nothing, then it's kind of like missing the... Why can't I just copy this? Oh, because... Yeah, what I was trying to say was, I can go over this, but if at the end you still choose not to do it, I can't help you. Alright. Okay, so this lot. If you remember, we are trying to factor. That means we are trying to pull something out. When we want to pull something out, basically we want every item in your expression has the same thing. This time we don't have it. Ideally, if there's going to be like an x over here, then I can pull that out. I don't. So what we are going to do is we're going to break that. So we're going to break that into two parentheses. So we're going to keep this portion together. I'm going to keep the other portion over there. So that's how I can break this. So 1 minus x. Still nothing I can do with these two items. 1 and x, they are very different. I can't do too much about it. However, x squared and x to the power 3, x squared, that means there are two x's over there. X to the power 3, there are 3 x's over there. So things that are in common in this scenario will be, I will have 2 of them. They will be in common. That means I can pull them out. Okay. Another way to remember that is if you look at the expression, just pick the one with the lower order. Okay. If it's x to the power 2, x to the power 3, pick the lower order, then you can pull that out. So that's actually the scale. Why is it not changing? Okay. So plus I'm going to put the x squared out. And then what's left over inside, this x squared, I put everything out, there's nothing in there. It's just going to be 1. X to the power of 3, I put 2 of that out, so I left with just 1x. So I'll copy the sign, 1x. Okay, and some of you actually submit the assignment, it looks really good, that you guys actually put a parenthesis over here. And for those people who actually did that, that was a very good habit. Okay, everyone can treat this like a hobby. I do. So that 1 minus x, that's what you can pull out again. Okay, some of you actually submitted assignment and then you kind of like stop right over here. What you need to do is you pull that 1 minus x out again because they are common. So this whole thing, if you pull that out, you actually, like this one, x squared, you pull the whole x squared out, you actually left with another 1. So this portion, if you take out the 1 minus x, the very first item turns into a 1. The second item, once you pull that 1 minus x out, you're left with the x plus 2. Alright? So that was the key skill that, you know, some of you actually submitted that on a piece of paper. I gave you full credit, but I will write a whole bunch of things right next to it. It's because you may not proceed after this step. So keep that in mind. Always try to spot for something that's common. If they're in common, you can pull that out and you can factor it further. Alright, so that's that. Next one. This x to the power of 6 plus 27, that has everything to do with that two theorem that we've gone over in class. It says if you have a to the power of 3 plus ab to the power of 3, then your expression can turn into a plus b, a squared minus a times b plus b to the power of 3. Okay, the only thing you do have to remember is if it starts with a plus, the very first parenthesis, stay with that, and then you go for a subtract, that's always going to be a plus. And alternatively, if you have a squared minus b, okay, extremely similar to the very first one, other than some of the sign will be a little bit off. A squared plus ab plus, at the very end is always plus. So really recommend you to remember these two. I'm going to test it. We are basically wrapping this up. So there will be a test on this. So now this one is a little bit more difficult because a lot of people can see the to the power of 3. Alright, it takes a lot of practice, and practice means you do your homework, and as we can see, we are not doing it, are we? So 27 is 3 to the power of 3. You can think about 3 to the power of 2 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is going to be 27, therefore 3 to the power of 3. Now the first one is a little bit more difficult. To the power of 3, x to the power of 2, okay, it's not 3. Some of you put 3 over here. Remember that exponents, this is like 2 times 3, okay, this means x to the power of 2 to the power of 3 means I have 3 copies of this. X to the power of 2 again, x to the power of 2 again. Then when you multiply this, is 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. Okay, a lot of you are still confused about, you know, when you multiply this is add, when you have this is multiply. Don't make those mistakes. So now life is much easier because now I have this 2 power 3 to the power 3. I can use this one. Okay, my a is going to be x squared, my b is going to be 3. So I can simply just kind of copy this this formula and changing the a and b to whatever it is. So it's going to be x squared plus 3. That's the first term. Second term is x squared square. X squared square is just like this, right? 2 times 3 is 6, so it's going to be x to the power 4. x to the power 4, and then minus x squared times 3 is 3x squared. Finally, 3 squared is going to be 3 to the power of 2. I'm sorry, it's to the power of 2. It looks like a 3. 3 to the power of 2 is 9. Alright. Okay? At least we should be able to do something like that. 1, 1, 3, 3. What I'm trying to do is I want to see if I can factor this a little bit. So that's going to be 1, 1. If I want to get to negative 3, 3, 3 is not going to work. 1, 9 is not going to work. So I cannot factor any further. So if you have a parenthesis like this, it looks kind of like a quadratic equation. You do want to see if you can factor it a little bit further. But in this scenario, we cannot. So that's good. So if we can't do any further, this is the answer. Alright, so hopefully this video is a little bit long, but it actually covers all the different materials. So tomorrow I will tell you this is ready, and you are going to finish your missing assignments. If you are still not going to do it, you're just going to get 0. Okay? And for people who's been asking, like, when am I going to create a video for this chapter, quite probably this is the one. This is the one that I'm going to create. I know I haven't done the long division. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. If people are still having problems, then I'll create a separate video for long division. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.